And we're back. See? So quick. That was fast, unlike the amount of updates we get for the following game. But when they do come out, bro, the Reddits are no longer thirsty. They're not, the Discords that I've been in are going nuts. And the content creators are going to be spending another 6 months before we hear something else. But it is what it is. But we've got a new folks attack, and we're going to sit down and break down what we saw, what we liked, what we'd like to see the direction, and maybe try to break down some hidden things we saw in the trailer. We had a Project L Dev Diary drop on us today, shortly right before the Game Awards. So Riot knows when all eyes are on them for sure, when the hype is at an all-time high. Yeah, so that dropped earlier this morning, and we are going to break that down.
Yeah, quick thing if I may. I feel like this is also a response to Mortal Kombat saying they have nothing. They were like, you know what? We should probably make a video. I'm sure they've been having this footage ready, you know.
Well, I mean, remember, I had forgotten myself that we were supposed to get another update before the end of the year. And I just, like, for some reason, it just didn't click for me that I'm like, yo, shit, we're in December. I mean, technically, yeah, they could go the route of, like, December 31st and be like, it was still in 2022 and be like, all right, you guys are dickheads. But, like,
if I can yeah, go ahead. No, if I can also be honest, there's a lot of, dare I say, familiar faces. I can't put a name to the faces that I see in the trailer of developers, but I feel like I've seen them everywhere. Like at Evos, either at events. So I do have a sort of sorry to just go into it already without, you know, in a type of direction.
No, that's fine.
I do feel like I have some sort of sense of comfortability with where this game is going.
I was gonna say, no, that's actually, you know what, fuck it, right? If you're listening, quote that shit. They were like, yo, I saw a bunch of people that I knew were out in the trenches with players at events and all, and they're the ones that are working on it. Hell yeah, that's confidence inducing. That is to help you, the person that, I mean, sure, it's not gonna matter so much to the casuals, because casuals are like, League of Legends, fuck yeah, like we're going in. But like for us, those that really take the, you know, the diehards, the hardcores that are really look at, you know, how devs make decisions and all that, to see, you know, your fellow button mashers or people that you've gone to events with and maybe even played in tournament and bracket or hung out with in after parties or whatever, to be there working on it is such a vote of confidence for us. The consumers are going to be playing, that are guaranteed to be playing it for the longest period of time, like, is a great thing.
They even have the game designer sharing his gamer tag.
Oh yeah, you gotta be real. You gotta be about it. So yeah, so we got dropped the longest update we've seen at this point. 6 minutes 43 seconds. Of course, Mr. Tony Cannon himself showing up right there in the building, just with that smirk. He's just like, "Hey guys," or excuse me, not Tony. Excuse me, it was Tom. Tom Cannon. They look the same, bro. I'm sorry. I can't differentiate.
Is this hair a little bit whiter? Like he's been working extra hard on this. Like I don't remember it. Maybe it's because they're always bald. Season, buddy. Maybe they're always bald, right?
Listen,
or they were wearing hats.
Between running,
he looks good. He looks good, man.
Between dealing with Evo and what he has to, you know, the amount of stuff on his back here and the rest of the team, everybody's gonna age a couple years, man. That's just game development.
I'm just saying, if I want gray hair, I want it to be just all like that. Just give it to me the full. Don't give me parts. Give me the full.
Give him the gray fox. All right. So, like you stated, he kind of said, like, hey, we came in last time saying it's a free to play tag team game, right? That was the two biggest things we brought out of it, and of course, you know, and a preview of the character. They are now showing what is at 30%. I'm trying to remember. Is it Elioi or Iaioi?
Eloi.
You're right. All right. Cool.
We all say it differently, but yeah, it's right.
A part of me, listen, that's just my mental. Like 2 L's in Spanish definitely is a Y, so yeah, it's exact. That's why I'm like, it's probably in that aspect.
That's why I say it like that, pretty much.
So they break down the cool part of you know, how designers, like the writers and the animators, all get together to work on the character Bible, and then, you know, bring this character to at least 30%. Once again, this is a 30% character. There's a lot to still be done. First of all, hold up.
Really?
The render, dog. Let's start off the rip. The render looks fucking amazing.
It's Ilawi. Like
Ilawi. Okay, Ilawi. Thank you. I appreciate you. So
it looks amazing.
It does.
I think I'm actually watching. I thought I was watching the show for a second, but like
it's clean.
The update from before to this, I was like, what the fuck is this? This is 30% for a character? What about the game itself? Is that 30%?
Yeah, so it's looking off the rip good. Even for a 30% character is kind of wild. So mega updates for sure. But we got to see a lot more than just like, the character being put in. So I'm actually trying to bring up a quick render of what we saw before in some of the gameplay.
I think it's very interesting that they went with this type of rendering because this, I'm not gonna lie, we've seen this before. Like Rumblefish has done rendering to some degree like this. A lot of them come out really shitty. Like the only way you could get away with doing this is usually you have to do a lot of animating, a lot.
Oh,
there's a lot of polygons. So,
I mean,
I think this is amazing.
I mean, if you want to look at, I mean, I'm not one to say, it took to Arcane to see something like that, but I just want to put, just an example of how things have grown. If you see how Jinx, even just, like face-wise, just like how she actually looks from the previous one, where she's, obviously all animations, it's not done, it's a work in progress, but still, just even the rendering on the shadowing on her, there's a little bit more contrast there. The colors seem to be popping a little bit more. Now even her face animations, you can look. Yeah, even the hair, the face animation just looks at her boots actually even look different.
It changed completely the style, actually.
Yeah, they added more
it took
color.
away the sort of some of the lines on the tummy.
Yeah.
So they actually added more to her hair.
Yeah.
I will say though, they did zoom it in. The game is a little bit more zoomed in.
It looks bigger, right? Did it look bigger to you? I'm feeling that too. I don't know if it's the size of this character compared to Jinx.
But you know what it was? I think they did that because they were like, it's going to be a tag game. We didn't want it to be too close to the screen, so you can't see the the assist mix up. But I'm just saying, I'm okay with it.
First of all, she does not skip back day. Just want to be very clear here. So we got to see what I thought was going to happen, because if you looked at the character, this is a great prime example for you to prep yourself, right? This is the cool thing about how these trailers came out. That first one showed like, oh, here's the artwork and here's the legend, that we're looking to bring out. The champion, we're looking to bring out. And from there, you could have speculated as to like, oh, she has the tentacles, and those spirit tentacles, they affect the field in different ways, and you can choose to use them, this, that, and the other. How can they, convert that into an actual fighting game? Will that work? Is it going to be slightly kind of pseudo puppet character? And we got a good glimpse. And I'm going to say right now, like, I've been very real. I'm not the biggest League cat, for sure. I've done more high-level League productions than I have played the damn game. It's fun, but I can at least look at it and see what a character can do in the game, and how well they can translate that into a fighting game was like the biggest kind of flag for me, is to see like how much care they're putting into the archetypes. And she's been a very, very good confirmation as to how they're really, really putting it all to make a very unique experience, which I'm assuming they're going to do for every character. I mean, thus far, you're kind of seeing it, right? Darius is very strong. Looks like he's going to have armor. He's got some interesting grabs. Jinx, there's some mobility there. Ari definitely has mobility there, but that's kind of part of her kit, right? Her ult lets her get extra dashes. Echo's got the time warp, mechanic, right? So these characters are going to be so incredibly unique for each iteration that they're going to be building up. So that was like the first thing. And then they kind of got into, of course, the actual mechanics of it that we saw in here, which is fucking amazing. So let's just like sit down and break that down with you guys. First of all, I always want to say, if it's just me, does it seem a little faster too?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
They definitely sped it up. Sped it up. But I think that's because of the animations too. So everything looks a lot smoother and crisper and faster.
It could be also, this is like our first 60 frame per second video.
Maybe.
Like 1080p,
So
60 FPS, I think. I don't know.
So the biggest thing that I took away from at least them starting up, explaining everything, was the two words they brought in, which I was like, that's fucking great. It was, a great sentence, but that was the expression I was waiting for. No pun there. We believe there are a ton of opportunities for player expression. That term could sometimes be used very lightly and be complete bullshit. But I think already from just what they're telling us in movement options, they are letting you just have like really your lay of the land when it comes to the stage and how you can move about it. Walk, run, dash, chain dash, jump. There's, I think, a double jump. There's air dash as well, and long jump, super jump. Excuse me. So I'm trying to think of the long jump, what that is versus the super jump. If we're talking, we're not saying hops and short hops, right? Because I'm thinking KOF at that point.
So there is a game that has like kind of like long jumping. There's a few games like that. Melty Blood kind of has like long jumping, and then they also have super jumping. It's very fucking weird. They're two different things though. There's a few. There's another game I can't get it off the top of my head, but there's a weird another game that has something that's like a long jump, and then they have an actual super jump. But I don't know. I mean, that's new. I would say it's more innovative and new, but it's coming from somewhere, because that's not something normally you would add to a game. But they're trying to get every movement possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, a game could have a crap load of awesome characters and great moves, but if the mobility feels terrible, like that'll just take you right out of it. That'll just like it'll be harder to kind of like set yourself like a pace for the game and get a feel for the game when your mobilities are like not really there. Especially when it comes to archetypes, right? Like a game that doesn't like some characters, yeah, sure, that you sacrifice that for archetypes. I'm gonna say Guilty is an example, right? Pot does not have an air dash, right? Like there are some moves that help distinguish that. Like if you look at anything before Strive, you have the head blast and the rocket blast, and then you got like, you know, technically a dive kick, but you got it with cheeks, right? There's ways that he can still move about. He has a double jump, but he can't air dash. But there's, you know, that's an archetype sacrifice. But still, his backdash is fucking amazing, right? Hella invo frames. It could be used in a myriad of ways. His what is it? Not the fist. When he like dashes, I can't remember what it was actually called.
Hammerfall.
Hammerfall. Thank you. Yeah, Hammerfall. Hammerfall is another example of like using moves to give you that option. But the thing that sucks is that like you have to have it. The character's kit gives you that. Versus universally, like there being a insane amount of movement. That's why some people are, you know, think like Strive is a little limited, especially considering the previous games. Like to a degree, it is. So it looks like they're trying to kind of just outright not have that same kind of issue here, where we're just giving a great amount of movements. Once again, you know, you have your walk, you have your run. So, you know, shout out to all my MK heads that love running, right? That's going to be fun to use. Then you have, of course, your long jumps, super jumps, your air dashes as well. Like they're just trying to check off every box so that way you truly can use, you know, to our understanding right now, as many of those options as well. Like I don't foresee Darius having an air dash. Like to my knowledge, I wouldn't see him do it. I don't think we've seen him once, but someone like Ari, for sure. Like her mobility is going to be a factor in the character archetype. And like the fact that they're just giving you all these options doesn't mean it has to be just like said character. You know, this is gonna come universal wide to everyone in some sort of degree, but it's just as to what works for your playstyle. So player expression, right? Check. Got it in movement right there off the rip. Then we moved on to the offensive buttons. That it's kind of like, you know, they want to make sure that your buttons are rewarded. You're pressing something strong, you need to be rewarded for being offensive. Like they don't want to make it seem like it's just like that it isn't rewarding. It sucks to hear, but like, you know, some games, you know, are like that. So they're incentivizing the action. So you have, you know, your wall bounces here, which, you know, just let you know, this wall bounce is fucking insane. What's up?
No, let it run. You can keep going. I'm gonna tell you after. I just want to make sure it was what I thought. Yeah, he definitely did a cancel. He did a jab cancel, and he was able to jump.
Oh yeah.
So
that's
wild.
That looked like, yeah. I saw that. I noticed that, and I was like, is that a timing thing? Like, are we already getting? You know, whoever was behind here was definitely like oh, let me get my timing right. Let me whiff my jab, and then I'll be able to jump in afterwards. Is it actually after this one?
It's after that.
There we go, right here. Yeah.
He did the flip kick into.
No, that isn't a jab.
That's the thingy.
That's the ability cancel. Excuse me.
It looked like a jab. That was cool though.
But it's still the same. You know what? That still kind of is the same principle, right? He's gonna use this to animation cancel from what he did, which was the launcher on hit, and then it's like, oh, you know, instead of recovery on the launcher, yeah, we're just gonna let's rip this up and continue on.
I mean, the fact that it fooled me was still pretty cool, though. 'Cause that means the animations are so detailed that you can think it's something else until you really see it. So that's awesome, though.
The camera movement is really dope too.
Yeah. Oh, like the shaking and everything?
Oh, yeah. I love the following of it. Like, there are some cameras that are static, like Marvel. Like, the camera doesn't really move for Marvel unless you launch, right? Other than that. But this is like mid combo. We're seeing actual, like, a lively camera that's going with it. Even from the wall bounce, which at first was kind of jarring for me. Like, I don't know about you, but it kind of threw me off because I was like, it almost made me ask, like, is this going to wall bounce from mid-screen? Like, I wouldn't know. Like, she's already gone. She's out the fucking screen. Yeah, exactly.
A switch.
And actually already did start the walls. Once again, this is all development, so even the camera movement here is not finals. But this is just what we're seeing here.
Like her fall animation is kind of weird, but I kind of like it too. Like I'm like this person who loves League of Legends, but at the same time, like I'm accepting that like this is a fighting game, just like they did DNF Duel. I know I'm gonna like it. I know I'm gonna be fanboy cater to it, but I do want to see it done right. And I think because it's the right people, my expectations have gotten higher. It's different like how DNF Duel came out. My expectations weren't high. This kind of is building my expectations to be higher and higher and higher. I love it. I'm sorry. I gotta say it. I love it. It's not something you expect every day.
For sure. I also want to keep how damn low this overhead was. Like my man like took to like it had to have been like practically frame perfect. Like he's still technically floating in the air by the time this hits. Like that was so low. That is
I wonder
pretty...
if it's a command normal or command inside of a normal, like a demon flip type situation.
Oh, you think you think? Oh, let me see. So he throws out that. No, that look. Oh, okay, well, yeah, he definitely did some sort of.
So the thing is, he went for the ball. So the move is he goes towards the ball.
Oh, is that what it was?
After going towards the ball, it activates another step in the process.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're right. Little gives him the little hop in between.
This is definitely a Gabe character.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And then I'll do something and people will be like, why didn't you do that? Why did you do this? You could have done this and ended the match. And I'll be like, my expression, dog.
Player expression. You wouldn't understand.
Let me say this for a while, if I may.
Go ahead.
No, what I want to just get in is that I'm one of the ones who's, I know it's in development, but there's something I can't put my finger on it that looks a little janky. And I don't know if it's the 2D behind on the stage. You know, the 2D characters, the 2.5D on the stage. And I know League of Legends, what it looks like. And I've played Legends of Runeterra, and I know what that looks like as well. Like, I don't know if it's the characters are just too bright because it's a 2D, 2.5D type deal. Like, the character in the back, I feel, is fine looking. The guy in the back, he looks fine, like he fits in. Even the little fur animal spirit things.
Bro, that is the weirdest thing to nitpick right now.
No. He's not wrong.
I
noticed it too when I saw the background.
It looked too bright for the stage. I thought it looked fine on the bridge stage. I wish we got more footage from more redone footage of the bridge stage with these characters.
And you're not gonna talk about how Echo right now, like he snapped his spine 3 different ways in that pose.
That's hilarious. But that's the thing. I'm sure it won't take away from the game either. It's just when I first saw it. I didn't like when the direction that I saw some of the animations in the first fight that we saw of was it Ilaoi? Yeah, Ilaoi versus Jinx. I wasn't like I don't like that. I don't like Jinx's idol animation.
Backdash.
No, her idol. Her going back to idol. I don't like it. It feels stiff. And again, it's just the start of the game. It's just the start of the game.
Yeah, I wouldn't even worry about it.
But again, it's the start of the game. I'm open to it. Just like the Transformers trailer, the Beast Wars one. It looks janky. God. It's just development.
The show was also janky, so don't worry about it.
I mean, of course. But listen, it was excellent. Yes. Sorry,
I'm not too worried about the stage because the stage it has no shadows really, except for like in the front. Right. So I mean, I hold it with a grain of salt, right? So I think that's gonna
that's
change.
Why I'm not freaking out. Okay?
Yeah, that's gonna change. I mean, I could see there's some animations that look really fucking stiff, especially for Jinx for some reason. When I feel like she was one of the first characters that they made. Ari looks way more crisp. Darius looks super crisp. I mean, Ari has some moments where she's pretty stiff, but I think this will be over time. They're just trying to make sure things are functioning. I don't know, man. I mean, I want to nitpick too. Trust me, I do. I really do. In a bad way though. Like I think you did it in a fairly nice way. I want to be like, fix this fucking backdash animation. I just wanted to color and
But if I may, I just wanted to be that little devil's advocate here. But at the same time, I know it's still I'm sure. Honestly, I think this is even earlier than we think. With only 5 characters.
This is a 2024 release, bro. Let's just be real.
Definitely.
And free.
Right alongside Final Fantasy Remake 3 or Remake 2, excuse me. reunion, whatever it's called. But other than that, like, I honestly, I don't know. Now we've talked about it. I guess off stream. I am not the hugest fan. Like, we don't know where they're gonna go with the life bar situation, with the UI. Even like, this is all just very gameplay oriented, and I think it's not going to be as chaotic as MVCI with the active switches, because obviously we do see active switch, but not as pertinent. I'm sure there's maybe a cooldown. Obviously, it's an MMO game when we've seen cooldowns before in Grand Blue. I think this is also a good time for these games like this to kind of come out, so that these developers can actually look at old games that have dealt with certain things that have cooldowns and where those games have gone and what the player reception is. In terms of like the how do I say, nothing looks like it's too hard to deal with, but I also not a fan of, like, are these combos ever going to end? We do have combo breakers. That's something we did see. But, like, maybe that's just my intimidation factor when it comes to games like Skullgirls and Power Rangers. Like, I feel like those combos never end, and I'm like, am I doing something optimal? And that's the problem with, personally, myself being a competitive fighting game player. So
yeah, so touching on that piece that you said, so yeah, the tagging aspect is, like, you know, the biggest thing that we got to see. It isn't just a simple, because before we only got to see a little bit of extension, I think, but we definitely didn't see the different components that they added, right? It was you've got the assist itself. It's like, what is it that he actually called it? Because he did change it, and they are aimed to change too.
Assist based fighter. So he calls it assist. Well, he has the names when it comes up at the certain point. But did you guys notice that, like, Darius is the most complete?
Oh yeah, it makes sense. He's one of the oldest characters there, one of the first ones.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of love for Darius right now, and then I feel like Ari/Echo is the next to the kind of, like, get mostly completed. But it seems like Ari.
Yeah,
like
so
you said, I am actually a big fan of Echo.
There we go. So we got the names of it. So we got assist actions, which is like your typical assist.
So that'd be AA.
Yeah. So the thing about that I'm trying to figure out, or what we'll find out eventually, is, like, are there different assist actions? Like, are you able to pick a type A, B, Y, right? Like assist, like kind of like how Marvel, or is it going to go the route of Skullgirls, which I still think does the best, where you can do A, B, and C of predetermined ones, or create a custom one yourself for whatever the situation. But then obviously there being differences between the custom one and the attributes of the set ones.
Well, he did. I was just gonna say he did say there was 2 assist. So there was two different types of assist. It was like imagine it's like one that, like, I guess does a normal attack or whatever, and then another one that would do like, I forgot I know there's a charge one. You can hold it down the charge. So that wasn't during regular assist. Assist. It's not part of the handshake. It's actually during a regular assist action, but he shows it later on after dynamic save and stuff, because he starts talking about the assist actions, that there's 2, and one you can hold.
They can perform off screen. There we go. The one that sorry, there was the input one that you can't hold. So there's 2. So there's the charge assist, and there's just the action assist that's instant. So the charge assist, I would assume that's like more of a, like, very, like, a rangy one, kind of like think like C assist, like for Dragon Ball Fighters, where it's like a homing one. It's a universal one. So maybe it's something that keeps them going. I mean, I don't know. It's still early to speculate, but the way they showed Darius do it became from a close range assist to now a much longer one that's more delayed, right? Like, so you have your standard one, but then you have your charge, like you said, that he's like, it's active, he's out, he can get interrupted at any point, but it, like, you know, his little shoulder charge doesn't happen until the end, and that isn't until, like, damn near the other side of the screen.
Well, here I know they can still do handshake tag. So I think this allows for creating a combo that wouldn't be normal, that let's say he couldn't reach with assisting. Now he can reach with assisting. That allows for the handshake tag to happen, compared to before. Kind of like corner carry naturally in the assist. Yeah, like, or if, like, they do like a beam from across the screen, right? Or they do a wall bounce, and then they had them do the charge into assist instead of doing just a regular handshake tag. Yeah, because they showed it here with the point character sending Echo in on what it looked like the charge assist, and then handshake. So handshake assist is the ability to actually swap between your characters from that assist itself.
So
Power Rangers has that right now.
yeah, Power Rangers has that. Street Fighter X Tekken had that. It was quite literally built on the back by the end of the meta game. That's what was the biggest thing, was just, combo to assist swap to whatever to maybe assist swap again into super, like, were pretty prevalent combo routes in that game by the end of its lifetime.
Yeah.
At about 4 minutes in the trailer. Oh, go ahead, Meza.
No, you're good. Good.
So about 4 minutes in the trailer, there was the well, let me see. So what's her name?
You're talking about the Jinx interactive.
Yes.
Yes. That was another layer. I was like kind of shocked that no one kind of blew up on that already. So to put it in perspective, Jinx puts down one of her little traps, and it stays in front, and she can interact with it, as in hit it. Think Venom balls in Strife, right? You put a cue ball up, and then you can hit it depending on the angle or the button you press will go a different, angle. But then does an actual, what looks like charge assist into the handshake, because Echo just follows it, hits it, but then changes. But then Echo is then able to interact with it afterwards, was the crazy part. So now you've got situations where you're literally just melding kits at this point between characters and abilities, which is just like, that's crazy. Because that opens up an insane amount of routes and situations.
And it makes me think, like, will there be maybe, so you know how certain games there's like synergy? It makes me think, will there be synergies that can be done that are viable for every character? You know what I mean? Like,
that's going to be the tricky part.
Exactly, because everybody says, oh, there's a worst character in the game, but then it's like, what if they all have like synergies that actually make them really good? And I think that's also an avenue you can take with 2v2s. Is like, this combination, all these combinations won't ever get old, so to speak.
Yeah,
because there's so much variety to it.
So much expression, player expression.
Yeah. Marvel Infinite, but also Marvel Infinite is hard to watch too.
That is true.
And anyone
Even
else?
though I enjoy the game.
Anyone else stoked that Jinx got Hyper Viper Beam?
She does.
Oh, you saw
Hyper Viper Beam. Bah!
Okay, so that part at 4, right before in the middle of this combo, the start of this combo, I mean, where she did the cross up. Yep, right there.
Yeah, the actual
She did a
turnaround
slide. Yeah, rocket, cross up, hammer into all of this. Echo, handshake,
charge
whatever you
assist
wanna call
into
it,
handshake. Yep, into wall
the
bounce.
wall. So that I think was a demon flip. That wall bounce, because you would never have an air normal do that type of wall bouncing move.
But the aspect about it that's crazy is like the combo route is really good. I mean, sure, we can analyze on each character specific, but yeah, Jinx has some unorthodox looking moves. But the crazy part is that she does the handshake. So we're talking a handshake. She does a charge assist, right? AA, but it's charged, so it's CA. To handshake, HA. So yeah, full control of Echo. To Echo just going in, getting the wall bounce and all. Then on the return from the wall bounce, getting what looks like launcher into then a launcher assist handshake back. It's like the cooldown, I guess, isn't that short at this moment. Once again, this is all to change, but
you might have like actual amounts. Like, let's say you have 3 charges, and maybe you could use 3 charges, and it slowly charges back up, or it's just gone for the round.
You're thinking one of those instances where you can probably get it back within the combo if it's long enough.
Exactly, like Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat 9, I think it was.
Yep.
Now I'm only curious if you can do handshakes during supers. It's the only thing that's.
Oh,
that would be a problem.
That would be
definitely
cheap.
That would be we turn it back levels. Yeah, it really becomes really scary then. But it also becomes a different game, and I mean, it becomes
even more Marvel 3.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, and I say that with I want League to still be its own thing, which is shaping up to be. But when something curves a little too hard to what like looks good, and then it becomes another game, and it's just like
a crutch.
Yeah,
to me, there hasn't been anything that's sort of been like the signature of this game, I think you would say. Like we've seen everything we've seen here, we've seen from other games, I think. I don't think there's something that's standing out to me other than Echo's total entire kit. Like,
yeah, but that is a very unique.
Well, that's a
character.
character. That's,
Yeah.
Every game is gonna have a character that's unique, generally.
Yeah, it's gonna bring something new to the table. But yeah, actually, no, I'm right there with you. Like this game is slowly becoming an amalgamation, like a melting pot of all these other games together, which is like an incredible thing. It's not an easy feat because you can easily have too much, but the cool thing about it is that you can then pull on so many people because now there's a little bit of familiarity to it. Because like, oh, I know this. I've seen this before. I've seen this song and dance, like dynamic save, which is like the other component to assist that we haven't had a chance to really sit down and talk about, which is basically, to do a TLDR there. It's burst. Like, yes, they said it's a combo breaker. That's because you can do it while getting comboed. But generally, you don't have to be in a combo to do it. Like, you could just actually, it could be neutral and then you can still press it. So if you're getting caught up and you're not within range to actually hit, there's it could be completely whiffed and then you have a complete punish to go off of. But it's kind of like, once again, like if they did the fusion dance, burst, and combo breaker, this is ideally what you would get. There's so much more that we can get into in just these 6 minutes, but we're actually going to be wrapping up. There will be a part 2 to this. We're breaking this down a little bit further. But Mazza, go ahead. Hit
I'll just say this one last thing
about
the burst mechanic that they have. If you didn't catch it, when you burst, you can either choose to keep the character in or actually swap them out. So I think that's really important because you couldn't do that, and I think that might be partially its uniqueness. If we're looking for a specific for now, that I think would be their unique thing, just due to the fact that in BB Tag you could swap in, but you had to stay in. Like, you couldn't swap back unless you're tagged into both. That was their unique style. So I mean, even with Guilty Gear, even though it's not, Marvel Infinite, there's no real burst. You could kind of just raw tag whenever you want it.
Yeah, you use the life bar as that leverage.
Dare I say we also got our glimpse at the first special or super move?
Oh yeah, sure.
Did we? I think.
Wait, I'm trying to see where it is. It comes in 152.
I mean, we got to see the Hyper Viper beam, but you're talking about the first super from Darius. Oh yeah. Yes.
You're right. We did.
Yes, for sure. For Darius, that's the first one, more or less. But we did see that piece of artwork, that super, as a piece of artwork that they've shown behind. So it is definitely from concept, but this is the first time I believe we've seen it in motion. But yeah, like I was stating earlier, guys, that is going to wrap up our Focus Attack on Project L. There's going to be a part 2. This was kind of more of like introductory, just to see the things that we did like about it. And we'll be doing a more in-depth guide, or rather just look at either on the next show, or it might actually end up being on a second piece for us on YouTube, which you guys should definitely go check out. Double Tap FGC on YouTube. We do have one. We've had it for a while. We just haven't really brought it up much because there's a lot of content that we have in the works. Make sure to go subscribe to go check that out there. All right, so that is actually taking us to the tail end of the show. But before we go, we're going to take a quick breather. There was a lot of Project L talk there. We'll be back in 1 minute. Once again, we'll be here. Just chill out. Ads coming up. We'll be wrapping up shortly.